everyone, and welcome back to episode 68 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And I have another great episode on deck for you today, a special Crimson Chronicles Sooner Born episode with someone whose name everyone probably recognizes from seeing on the scoreboard across all of Sooner sports, Noble McIntyre. You see his name being used in the Noble McIntyre review across many Sooner sports across campus. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear my conversation with him, talking about his favorite Sooner memories, how he grew up a Sooner fan, his journey along the way, all of his contributions to Sooner sports, and much more. But before we get to that conversation, let's thank our sponsors, Marvin's Place, a fine art gallery and listening room located in the Depot District in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Come experience amazing artwork, and on Friday nights, visit the listening room, an intimate and unplugged venue. We host singer and songwriters on Friday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Relax with a glass of wine or craft beer and enjoy some wonderful music. You can find out more, including a link to all of their social media, their music calendar, all of the artwork and jewelry available at the gallery on their website at marvinsplace.gallery. Also, thank you to Therapy to Go in Ardmore, the funnest place in town to drive through for a drink, and you don't even have to get out of your car. They have a large variety of spirits as well as fountain drinks and snacks, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy to Go Ardmore. And if you stop by to see them, be sure and tell that Larissa from Sooner Girl Sports Pod sent you, and you will get a free gift. No injury segment this week with our friend Dr. Lynan, as we do not have any injuries to discuss, so that is always a good thing. Also, where will I be this week for Sooner Sports? I do not have anything currently planned for this coming week, but don't forget there are several opportunities to support our Sooners at home this coming week, including our baseball series against Florida, our track and field hosting their last home meet of the season on Saturday, May the 2nd. So I hope that you will check the calendar to get out and see our Sooners on campus this week. The seasons are rapidly coming to a close, and our opportunities to support our Sooners in person are dwindling for the season. So I hope that you will get out and support them as you can. Okay, on to this week's Sooner headlines of the week. In case you do not know, there is a student voted and nominated sports award every spring called the Sooner Sports Awards, and it is coming up next week, the first week of May. There are lots of Sooner Girl Sports Pod family nominated for awards, and I'm very excited about that. I cannot wait to see how many of them win and take home an award. But our volleyball player that I had on the podcast late last year, Sydney Thompson, she is nominated for the Magic Award. Play of the Year, Ralford Mullings, who was just on the show last week, is nominated for his NCAA championship clinching throw from NCAA's last summer. Also, Fuzzy Bennis of our men's gymnastics, who was on the show back in March, he is nominated for Male Senior Athlete of the Year. And my tennis player, Julia Garcia Ruiz, who was on last month, and Leah Brannon Reeves, who is a rower that I will be having on the podcast this summer. They are both nominated for Female Senior Athlete of the Year. And also men's gymnastics head coach Mark Williams, who I had on the show last spring. He was one of my very first guests on the show. He's become a dear, dear friend of mine. He is nominated for Head Coach of the Year. So good luck to all of our friends of the show at the Sooner Sports Awards. They are next week, so I will be sure and update you on the winners. Also, a quick update on the Owen Heineke situation for those who may have missed it. As you know, we announced just a couple of weeks ago that the court had granted Heineke another year of eligibility just a couple of weeks ago. But most recently, just within the last few days, the NCAA is asking the Oklahoma Supreme Court to reverse Heineke's injunction. So what will happen next? The NCAA files arguments saying that the injunction is incorrect. Heineke's side will respond defense to the ruling, and the court will decide whether to uphold it or overturn it. His legal team has 30 days to respond to the NCAA's appeal. It is worth noting that the same thing happened with Trinidad Chambliss, in which the Mississippi Supreme Court threw out the case. It is important also to note that Owen Heineke is eligible to play until the decision is actually reversed. This could take months or possibly longer, and there's a chance it never even reaches the Oklahoma Supreme Court until after football season. So, of course, they're challenging it. Of course, they're asking for a reversal, but hopefully nothing will come of it. But I will be sure and keep you posted as things come out regarding that case. As this episode drops on April the 29th, we are 128 days out from kickoff. For those who are counting down until football season, I know we are all super excited. Also, on the football front, our former Sooner Baker Mayfield, him and his wife Emily welcomed their second child, their son Maverick Thorne Mayfield. If that's not a good football name, I don't know what is. He was born on April 16th and he weighed all of 9 pounds, and all of the Mayfield family have April birthdays. I share a birthday with their daughter Kova on April the 9th. I believe she just turned 2. But all 4 Mayfields now currently born in April. Okay, a few updates on the NFL draft. We had 7 Sooners who were taken in the 7 rounds of the NFL draft. First one off the board was our Mason Thomas to Kansas City Chiefs in round 2. We also had Fabechi Nweyu go in round 4 to the Texans. Grayson Halton in round 4 to the 49ers. Kendall Daniels round 4 to the Falcons. Jaron Kanek went round 7 to the Titans. Robert Spears Jennings round 7 to the Steelers, and Deion Burks in round 7 to the Colts. We also had several other Sooners who signed as undrafted free agents with several teams. We had Jaden Ott, who signed with the Chiefs. Keontae Lewis signed with Tampa Bay. Demonic Williams signed with the Cardinals, and Marvin Jones Jr. signed with the Seahawks. Now, I'm sure you might be saying, did you just say Jaden Ott is going to the Chiefs? Yes, I did. So we all know who else just recently went to the Chiefs as their coach is DeMarco Murray, who was Jaden Ott's coach here in Norman. So that will be an interesting combination. There's been, of course, lots of saying regarding that on Twitter this past weekend since it happened. So it'll be interesting to see that. Those two reunited in Kansas City. Okay, on to men's basketball. Just a quick update on our former Sooner Austin Reeves, who plays for the Lakers in the NBA. He has been upgraded to questionable on their injury report due to his oblique. So he has not yet played in their series, but he has been upgraded. So that is promising for him. Hopefully we'll see him back on the court soon. Also, just a side note for our Thunder fans, Jalen Williams has a grade 1 hamstring and is out. I think I heard where he could possibly be reevaluated each week, but we are playing game 4 against the Suns tonight as I'm recording this on Monday, the 27th. So obviously we won't be seeing him tonight. We'll reevaluate that when the next series comes around. On to our men's basketball front, just a quick reminder, we have several guys who are returning. Many of them just announced here in the last week or so. Xavier Brown, Kai Rogers, Darion Reed, and Dayton Forsyth. And then from the portal, we have Texas A&M transfer guard Pop Isaacs. We currently have 6 open roster spots available. Also, Finley Keith is returning as well. I forgot to mention his name, but we do have 6 roster spots available after we add in all of the other incoming players we have with Connie Ruths from Louisville, Tyler Hendricks, the Utah Valley transfer, and of course our incoming freshman Gage Mayfield. Our women's basketball program has also been a little active in the portal. Just a reminder, the only player we lost to the portal was Zaya Van, who is transferring to Texas. If that's the first you're hearing that news and you want to hear more information on that, I did talk about it on last week's episode, but we did get one player in the portal from Maryland, a center transfer, Izzy Ozzy Mamandu. And it is hearsay that she is possibly the quote Reagan Beers replacement that we need in that roster spot. So excited to see her in the Sooner jersey this fall. Also, women's basketball hiring their first ever GM, Jared Boyd. So welcome to Norman, Jared. Excited to see how he's able to help our program, especially with the NIL front going forward, and to help Coach Jenny just focus a lot more on coaching. Okay, women's gymnastics. I just wanted to do a quick plug. I just recorded a few days ago, fresh off of the national championship win with Hannah Sheblay. And that episode is coming on May the 20th. So for those of you who are women's gymnastics fans, mark your calendars for that one on May the 20th. You won't want to miss my conversation with Hannah Shibley. Also, it was just announced today that our very own Faith Torres is a finalist for the Honda Award, which is the Heisman Trophy of women's gymnastics. So not sure when that winner is announced, but she was just announced as a finalist. So that's pretty cool. Very proud of her. And on men's gymnastics, I got to see Coach Mark Williams and the guys being honored on the field at the softball game when I was there this past Friday night. It was just super cool to see them being honored as the national runner-ups for the season. I took a picture of them, sent it to Coach Mark. So shout out to our men's gymnastics team again for giving them the opportunity to be recognized and just for all of their accomplishments on what a fantastic season that they've had. And if you don't follow Coach Mark Williams on social media, he's on Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, and he's at Wells Gym. He posts individual posts for each one of the seniors, each one of the guys, talking about their contribution to the team, what they mean to him. He's just such a special guy, such a special coach, and he has such a unique relationship with each one of these guys. It's been really cool to follow along and read up with these posts. So if you're a men's gymnastics fan or would just like to know more about a lot of our players, go give Coach Mark a follow, and you will definitely learn a lot from his posts. It's really cool to see what all he has to say about the guys. Also on the men's gymnastics front, Sooner legend Yul Mulder announced that he is leaving his longtime club gym, 5280, and returning to OU for, quote, an opportunity he could not turn down, end quote. He is returning to train for the 2028 LA Olympics at OU with Coach Mark Williams. I am so excited about this. I am hoping to be able to connect with him. I would love to have him on the show to talk about this journey and as he's training for the Olympics. So fingers crossed, I can definitely work that out. But it's just super cool that he'll be training with Coach Mark in Norman for the Olympics. Okay, on to baseball. Quick shout out to former Sooner Jake Irvine. He is playing for the Washington Nationals, and he had an incredible week last week. His last two starts, a 2.53 ERA, a .179 opponent average, and 13 strikeouts. That is back-to-back starts with no walks for the first time ever in his career. So shout out to former Sooner Jake Irvin playing for the Washington Nationals in MLB. Little shifting around in the polls this week. D1 baseball dropped to number 15 in the latest poll. A rewind for the games this past week. We had a midweek versus ORU last week. We found a way to pull out that win 7-6 in Norman. Jackson Willits had the go-ahead grand slam in the sixth as we rallied from 5 runs down to beat Oral Roberts and pick up the 6th win in the last 7 games. At that point, Mercurius was awesome on the mound, 3 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs. He had 2 Ks. Again, Jackson Willits with that go-ahead grand slam, and Dayton LaChance 3-run home runs. On to the weekend and the Auburn series on the road for our guys. Unfortunately, game 1, we suffered a 4-6 loss. Dayton LaChance hit 2 RBIs, and Jason Walk also with RBIs, but not much else to note from that game. Game 2 against Auburn, we evened the series 2-1 win. A final out of the game, we had an incredible play by Kyle Branch to save the game. Easily would have been tied if he did not field that ball and somehow fired it for the out at first. Incredible play. If you missed that, go back on social media and give that one a look. Cameron Johnson was really good. 5.2 innings pitched. Only 3 hits, 4 BBs and 5 Ks. Xander Mercurius, Caden Leon also came in to close it out. Game 3, rubber match on Sunday. We gave up 6 home runs in that loss to Auburn, 14-4 in 8 innings with that run roll. It was not a good day on the Diamond Sports for sure. It was just a tough finish for the weekend for our guys, but it was really big to get at least one of those wins on the road against that Auburn team. Up next, we have a midweek in Frisco against Texas Tech on Tuesday. So the day that this airs, that game will have been the night before. And so be sure and check social media for updates on that. And then next weekend, we have a home series versus Florida. On to softball, number 1 in the latest polls just came out today. Softball America has us at number 1 as well. So holding pretty steady there. We also want to give a quick shout out to the Softball America High School Player of the Week. Last week, Finley Williams from Melissa, Texas. She is an OU commit for the class of 2027. She went a perfect 7 for 7 at the plate, hit 2 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs while driving in 13 runs. Holy smokes, if that doesn't track for Patty reloading that roster for next year, I don't know what does. I can't wait to see Finley in a Sooner uniform next season. This past Friday night, I was there in attendance at the softball game for game 1 that win over Georgia. And Alana Agbayani was presented with a golden ticket from the AUSL, meaning that she is guaranteed and wanting to be drafted by one of the teams. So we're excited to find out next Monday on May the 4th who that will be. But in addition to her getting that golden ticket that she received, there are several Sooners who were invited to join the reserve pool, which means there are so many names and there's only so many roster spots, but you never know when something's going to change. Someone may have to back out for one reason or another, injuries, things like that. So those Sooners that are in the reserve pool now is Elena Torres, and then invited to join that reserve pool from our outgoing seniors are Sydney Burzon, Abby Dayton, and Isabella Emerly. Also, just a note on Cassidy Pickering. As many noticed last week, she did not play for a couple of games, and Coach Gasso did explain the reasoning on why she wanted Pickering to take a short step back. She said, quote, "I just think there is a little bit of healing time we need right now, and that's important. I care more about these young women as women and not just what they can give us on the field." So that's just a reminder that she's the coach. She's in charge for a reason. She knows what she's doing. We have no reason to question her or any of the players under her. She knows what she's doing. She cares about these girls. And of course, we're going to wonder where the girls are. We want them to be okay. But questioning Patty and her roster or who she is or isn't putting in a game is just silly. And that's just another good reminder of why. Also, Kendall Wells, SEC Freshman of the Week. Honestly, won't be surprised if she's named that again this week. However, that has not been announced yet at my time of recording on Monday the 27th. But we had a great midweek game against Arkansas Pine Bluff last week with a 9-1 run roll win in 5 innings. Isabella Emerling, 2-run bomb, 4th straight game with a home run for her. We hit our 161st home run of the season, tying the single season record at OU set back in 2021. So Sooners just out there breaking our own records. At that point, Kendall Wells still at number 34. We combined for a no-hitter. Miley Gacchino, Kirsten Dill, and Berkeley Zake. Also, Alyssa Parker hit a solo home run. Lexi McDaniel, a solo home run with those back-to-back homers. And then Isabella Emerling's 2-run bomb. On to the weekend series with Georgia. Game 1 on Friday night. A 10-2 run roll win. Number 35. Home run of the season for Kendall Wells, her program single season record, and breaking a tie with Jocelyn Allo's number 34 in both 2021 and 2022 seasons, moving into 3rd on the NCAA single season home run list in just her 48th game of the season. And also a single season home run record, team number 162, with just that one swing of the bat by Kendall Wells. It was just what a fun night that was. Just a quick note, NCAA all-time home run leader Jocelyn Allo set OU's single season record at 34 as a junior in 2021 with 183 at-bats and matched it as a senior with 163 at-bats. Freshman Kendall Wells hit her 35th of the year at her 145th at-bat. So again, Kendall Wells hitting that home run number 35. Gabby Garcia hit 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. The team now up again to 165 home runs at this point. Alana Agbayana got her golden ticket. Like I just talked about, run roll victory over a top-ranked opponent. The team breaking that single-season home run record and the single-season home run record for OU. Just a great night to be a Sooner for sure. Georgia game 2 on Saturday, a 3-1 win. We clinched the series. A great series win, complete game with only 4 hits by Miley Gacchino. She retired 12 in a row, had 6 Ks. Kendall Wells, again, a 2-run home run, number 36 for her on Saturday. Ella Parker had a solo home run. On to Sunday, game 3 against Georgia as we clinch the win, sweep the series against a ranked opponent. We had a great senior day win to honor Sid Burzon, Kirsten Deal, Alana Agbayani, Abby Dayton, and Isabella Emerling in that 6-5 win over Georgia on Sunday. Clutch home run by Gabby Garcia to win the game. She also ended the game with the last out with an amazing stop at short. Kai Miner went yard on a 2-run home run. That was the biggest hit of the game. in addition to Gabby's 16 straight home games with a home run for the Sooners. Molly Gacchino got her second win of the series. And again, those 4 pitchers combined to get the job done. Kirsten Deal, Sid Burzon, Alyssa Parker, and Miley Gacchino. Oklahoma softball by the numbers through week 12 from Seth Olivares on Twitter. If you are a softball fan and you don't follow Seth on Twitter/X, go give him a follow. He does put out some good stats. 46-6 record. We're 18-3 in the SEC. We are first in the SEC standings with a 1-game lead over Alabama. We're 15-5 versus top 25 teams. 32 run rule wins, 169 home runs, 10 shutouts, 2.9 team REA, 265 Ks through 304 innings pitched. Up next for our Sooners is the last regular season series is on the road at Texas A&M this coming weekend. And just a reminder, that is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. So we will start playing that series on Thursday, April the 30th. We will find out the final SEC standings and the seeding we will get for the SEC tournament next weekend. We will win the SEC outright for the regular season if we sweep Texas A&M. If we win 2 of 3 against A&M and Alabama drops 1 more conference game. If we lose 2 of 3 against Texas A&M and Alabama drops 2 more conference game and Florida drops 1 to Georgia. But we cannot win the SEC outright if we are swept by A&M. So of course, the best case scenario, go in to College Station next weekend, take care of business, sweep A&M, win the SEC regular season outright. We'll have that number 1 seed in the SEC tournament the following week. But right now, we've definitely clinched a top 4 seeding in the tournament. I think given the trajectory of the way things are going, I think we will definitely have that number 1 or 2 seed. Okay, on to volleyball. A quick shout out to our former Sooner, Lydia Martin, who I had on the podcast last summer. She plays Major League Volleyball for the Indy Ignite, along with our former Sooner, Amani Bush. Also, she scored a team-high 19 points as the Indy Ignite beat Atlanta to officially clinch the top seed in the playoffs, which will be starting next week. So shout out to Lydia. If you're a volleyball fan, go back and give her episode a listen. And go ahead and give them a follow on social media so you can follow them in the playoffs. Also on the volleyball front, just a reminder, the first ever SEC Big Ten Clash is coming to Norman in early September for its inaugural event. And so you'll want to make sure you want to attend that as well. Also, the conference schedule is out for Oklahoma volleyball in the fall. Conference season will start at the end of September and run through mid-November. And you will have 7 opportunities to see our Sooners at home with conference season. So I hope you'll check that out on social media and get out and support our Sooners. Okay, on to tennis. Shout out to our SEC first team, Evelina Lasevich and Rosen Gilhany and Gloriana Nahum. Also second team All SEC Etta Mamandova for our girls. And for our men, first team All SEC Luis Alvarez, second team Oscar Lacitas, and all freshman team Johan Rodriguez. The NCAA selection show for our men's and women's tennis is actually today, as I'm recording this on Monday the 27th. It is later this evening. So I will be posting all of that information on social media just in case you miss it. And I will, of course, update you on all of that and where they'll be playing in the NCAA tournament on next week's episode. A few updates on our track and field crew who hosted the O-Ring alumni event this past weekend. We had 18 event titles and 3 top 10 marks in program history while honoring several Sooner alumni throughout the whole weekend. It was a great weekend for our crew. Allie Stevenson had a personal best in the win in the heptathlon in the 100-meter hurdles. She also had a personal best in the 200-meter hurdles. She also won the long jump event in the heptathlon, the javelin event in the heptathlon, and she still sat in first place as she went into the final event. And she is the overall winner for the heptathlon with an 800-meter win to take the overall title. So shout out to her. Also shout out to Gabby Barrera for taking the win on the 3,000-meter steeplechase. Also, women's hammer throw, Kennedy Clark with a 3rd place win. And Morgan Little in the women's long jaunt takes the win, and Kendall Johnson follows her for 2nd place. Also, our men's 1,500 meter, a Sooner takeover in 1st through 5th place with Evans Bawat, Hayden Gray, Jack Vincent, Ronald Negatich, and Adrian Stupan. And our men's 400 meter, again, 3 Sooners in the top 5. Samuel Toiley came in second, followed by Keith Griffin III and Gage Hennessy. Women's shot put, Tylee Dotson matched her personal best to take the win. Men's shot put, Tucker Smith threw a first place win. A men's discus, Brendan C. secured his second win of the weekend with his throw. And the women's 400 meter hurdles, Chloe Rodriguez ran to take the win and improve to number 5 in school history. Also, the men's 200 meter, Kennedy Stringfellow had a personal best to take the title. Men's 800 meter, Carlos Tello took the win. Women's 1500 meter, freshman Domtillo Terudo took the win in that event. Women's pole vault, Tasani Foster cleared a personal best and finished third and took number 9 in OU history. And Jacelyn Neighbors cleared to earn a runner-up finish for her. Men's pole vault, Colton Rhodes took the event title with his winning clearance. Tyson Ritz won the men's high jump with an outdoor personal best, moving to number 3 in OU history. Women's 800 meter, Abby DeChurcher ran for a first place finish. And the men's 5,000 meter, Jack Vincent ran a personal best to claim the title. Next up for our track and field crew at home is this coming Friday, May the 1st. They will host the Sooner Invitational at the John Jacobs Track and Field Complex. That's their final home meet of the season. So if you want to get out and support our track and field crew, make sure and do that this weekend. Quick update on our rowing girls who just completed their competition at the Lake Wheeler Invitational in Raleigh. They had their season best weekend, 5 top 3 finishes in the morning session alone. As a team, Oklahoma totaled 38 points to place 7th overall in the standings against one of the nation's deepest regular season fields. Up next, Oklahoma will make the return to Oak Ridge, Tennessee and Melton Lake for the second ever SEC championship on May the 10th. The Sooners will face fellow SEC opponents number 2 Texas, number 3 Tennessee, Alabama, number 15 Alabama on the water, so stay tuned for those results. Quick update on our golf. Just a reminder for both the men and women's, the selection show is on April the 29th. So I'll be posting those results on social media in the meantime. Be sure and follow me at Sooner Girl Pod on all platforms for those updates. And I will also update you on next week's episode. But for the men, just to update on their SEC tournament, they finished stroke play in 7th and advanced to match play. And there were match wins against Jace and Ryder, but the Sooners dropped a quick decision, unfortunately, to number 4 Florida in the quarterfinals. But onward to NCAA regionals. Again, stay tuned for the results of that selection show later this week. But shout out to Jace Summy, who set the program's 54-hole conference championship scoring record as he finished as SEC runner-up. History was made, so shout out to him. Also, just a reminder, lots of club sports in Norman. As you know, I've recently mentioned, I've talked to a men's hockey player, women's lacrosse, women's flag football is new. You can be sure and go follow all of these clubs on Instagram for more information. But I have episodes coming up soon with Nate Monticelli of men's hockey, Lauren Clark of women's lacrosse, and also our flag football girls, Jaden Dapper and Maya Hira. Coming up this summer, you will not want to miss those. Also, shout out to my girl Maya. She is a statistician for the softball team, and so I got to meet her this past Friday when I was at the softball game against Georgia. Posted that on social media along with my video and some pictures from when Kendall Wells broke those records. So I hope that you'll go and check those out on my social media at Sooner Girl Pod on all platforms and check out all of those photos. Okay, on to my Sooner MVPs of the week. Of course, again, shout out to Kendall Wells, OU softball, single season home run record for her and single season home run record for the team at number 162. We are now up to 169 total home runs after the weekend. So OU softball just keeps getting the job done on the diamond. Super impressive to watch. Record-breaking girls every weekend. And again, shout out to Jay Summy for setting that program 54-hole conference championship scoring record and being SEC runner-up. Okay, to end the show with a Sooner fun fact of the week, former OU men's basketball coach Billy Tubbs compiled a 609 to 317 record as a D1 head coach, which included his 333 132 mark at OU from 1980 to 1994. Thank you again, each and every one of you, for your overwhelming support for the podcast, tagging, sharing your friends, commenting, all the things. It truly helps me more than you know. Go and get you some merch. I have lots of t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, long sleeves, crew necks, koozies, stickers, hats, visors, all the things. Soonergirl.bigcartel.com. I hope that you will go and support me in that. Free advertisement for me, and also help support the podcast. Also, the April edition of the Playbook newsletter just came out this past weekend. If you missed it in your inbox, you can go read it for free on my Substack, and you can sign up to have it delivered to your inbox in the future if you would like. Ladies, the huddle, the locker room, you're not going to want to miss our monthly meetings, our group chat. You get a discount on merch, all kinds of fun things. Also, advertising opportunities and sponsorships available. You can email me at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com or shoot me a message on social media. Again, at SoonerGirlPod on every platform. If you're on the platform, please go and give me a follow-up. You can find all of the information I just talked about at my link tree, which is my link in bio on all social media platforms. So I hope that you go and give me a follow and give my link tree a look and check it out and see how you can help support the pod. Okay, for our guest this week, Noble McIntyre, I cannot thank him enough for coming onto the podcast. And thank you, shout out to my friend Shauna for hooking us up. Shauna and Noble grew up together. They have lots of stories, and we actually talk about Shauna in the podcast, some funny stories. You won't want to miss those in our interview. So Noble McIntyre is the senior partner and owner of McIntyre Law. He was born in Fargo, North Dakota. His family moved to Oklahoma and to Burns Flat when he was only 1 year old. He graduated as valedictorian from high school and as just one of 100 Oklahoma academic all-staters in the entire state. He attended Oklahoma Baptist University, where he graduated with honors with a degree in accounting and a minor in business. After graduating from OBU, he then attended OU College of Law and received his Juris Doctorate in May of 95. He passed the Oklahoma bar exam in July of 95 and was sworn in as an attorney in September of the same year. He joined a local firm, was named partner 1 year later. A few years after that, he formed his own company, McIntyre Law PC. He is married to his wife, Rhonda. They recently celebrated 32 years together, and they have 3 daughters, Mackenzie Hope, Cassidy Grace, and Kennedy Faith. Noble was born an OU fan, born and raised, Sooner born, Sooner bred. He talks about his favorite Sooner memory, which is the 2000 National Championship game versus Florida State, and many other fun conversations you won't want to miss. Be sure and go give Noble a follow on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can find him at Noble McIntyre. I will pin all of that in the show notes and tag him on social media throughout the week. So I hope that you enjoy my conversation with the amazing Noble McIntyre, and I will see you next Wednesday where we talk sports. Well, I really appreciate you giving me part of your time. I know you're a busy fellow. You have a lot of good stories to tell, and I know you're a big Sooner fan, and I know that people would love to hear what you have to say. So I know you said you were born and raised a Sooner fan, so tell us a little bit about childhood and any of your favorite memories you have growing up being a Sooner fan.
It's an interesting childhood. We moved from Fargo, North Dakota to Burns Flat, Oklahoma, which is a little small town in western Oklahoma out by Clinton, Elk City, and Weatherford when I was a year old.
Yes.
So we moved into Burns Flat in March of 71. Burns Flat was a former Air Force base, Clinton Sherman Air Force Base. And when we moved in, they had just shut down the Air Force Base. There's 1,800 homes out there, and we were family number 1 to move in. So my folks moved into the base commander's house when I was.
Wow.
What makes it crazy is in Western Oklahoma in the 70s, that was the Jimmy Carter era, double-digit inflation, recession, nothing going on in Western Oklahoma. So nobody was buying houses in Burns Flat, Oklahoma. So, they would sell 1 or 2 a month on Officer Row, but the rest of the town of 1,800 homes was completely empty and vacant. But the military maintained the grass, cut everything, kept everything put together. All the houses were unlocked. So from age 1 to age 11, till 1981, you could ride your bike, skateboard, street after street after street. Nobody lived there. Every house was unlocked. And it wasn't until 1981 when the oil boom hit that the town filled up overnight. So my first 10 or 11 years of my life were in a little bitty ghost town. There was very, very few people lived there. And then it filled up very, very quickly when the oil boom hit in 1981.
So I'm assuming you met Shauna. She's from that area as well. So I'm assuming that's how you guys met.
Yeah. So Shauna moved. She lived in a little to the extent Burns Flat has a suburb. It's called Bryan Acres. So it's off base.
Okay.
It's about 2.5 miles on the highway that's leading out of town called Bryan Acres. That's where the civilians lived when the Air Force Base was active. So yes, met her. Her brother was a year older than me. Played football, basketball, baseball, track with him. Shauna was a year younger than me, and so I've known her for her entire life.
I love it. So I met her 2 summers ago now at the ladies clinic that Coach Venables did for his foundation, which I'm hoping comes back this summer because we had an absolute blast. I'd gone to every one of them that he's put on and just absolutely loved it. So the last summer they had it, we're divided up into groups, and Shauna just happened to be in my group. Didn't know her at all, but we got to talking, and I knew her first name, but that was it. And then shortly after that, I started my podcast, and she just happened to come across me on social media, and she recognized my face. And she was like, "Hey, I remember you." And I was like, "I remember you." So we reconnected. So it's been a little over a year now that we reconnected, and I just love her to death. She's crazy, wild and crazy like me.
Yep.
I'm glad that life circled back around and we reconnected and have that friendship now.
She was quite the character. Her brother was too. Her brother was the high school quarterback. I was a receiver, so
Okay.
he would throw passes to me and I'd catch them to the extent he could get them.
I love it. Well, it's very rare to find a girl that shares your passion for all things OU and has the knowledge of sports. So when I find somebody like that, I usually pick up on that and we hit it off pretty quick. And so that's definitely something Shauna and I have in common. So I'm thankful for her for sure.
Well, she definitely is an OU fan, and she reaches out to me occasionally. I'm a big sponsor supporter of OU.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go to many games and not see me on a scoreboard. I'm the review sponsor for football, for men and women's basketball, for softball, for baseball, and I'm sponsor and support them in a lot of different ways. And,
yes.
But she was a big Center fan growing up as well. We all were, we're Western Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It was OU or OSU, and who wants to be an OSU fan? And so we're all OU.
That's right. Well, I was born and raised an OU fan as well. My dad had season tickets all through the late 70s into the late 90s, and then he got sick and passed away. Unfortunately, I gave those tickets up when he was ill. I went to OU and was a student there for 5 years. And once I graduated, I got on the waiting list for season tickets. And now here we are. I've been a season ticket holder for football 14 years, I believe. But I love it. I was at OU from 98 to 2003. So I was there during a big transition time for football. My freshman year was not so great. But then here came Bob Stoops, and well, the rest is history. So I have a lot of fond memories of being in Norman, and it's one of my favorite places to be. I make it up to Norman as much as I can for all the things. I love all sports.
Yeah.
Speaking of you sponsoring everything, I know that a lot of people recognize your name, like you said, because you sponsor the official reviews for all the major sports. We all see it on football, and though everybody knows your name for sure, just for that reason alone. But I know you're a huge OU fan, and I want to hear too about, I know you went to OBU for college and then law school at OU. So tell me about your time there in law school, if there's anything specific you want to talk about, or just some of your favorite memories with OU sports over the years, maybe some of your favorite venues, your favorite games for any sport, all the things, whatever you want to share.
Favorite game. I mean, obviously, you said you were at OU when we won the championship.
Incredible.
The championship run with Bob Stoops in his second year was phenomenal, and the way it culminated. Clearly, a defensive coach, and to win it 13-2 in a championship game where defense does everything was pretty amazing. As far as the most enjoyable, fun game I was ever at was probably OU Texas Tech at OU. That game, the final score was like 55-52, whatever.
Yes.
They played jump around at the end. It was whoever had the ball last. Baker Mayfield era.
Yep.
That game was phenomenal.
It was.
I've ever been was OU versus Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game in Kansas, and I thought I was going to die. It was so cold. I forget what year that was, but it was brutal.
I think it would have been like 01, 02, like early 2000s. I remember that game.
So that was the coldest I've ever been. Best sporting venue I've been to on the road, Tennessee. When OU went to Tennessee with Baker Mayfield, we won it overtime. That venue, the way they play the music is over the top, was just crazy. Close second is when we went to Ohio State and Baker planted the flag. I was
Yes.
at that game as well. That
I love it.
was a really fun game too. So there's been some good ones. I've gone to some bowl
There
games
have.
and I've had a good time. Basketball is a little different. Oh, you struggled in basketball to get a lot of traction because we're a football school.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different now. We're struggling now. When Billy Tubbs was there, it was different. It was packed all the time. It's harder now to get people attention. Our facilities are not good.
Yes.
Mobile is not conducive to good fan base. I traveled out to watch Oklahoma play Gonzaga earlier this year out in Spokane, Washington.
Okay, yes.
That is a venue because it's much smaller. The students camp out overnight to get in. There's a limited number of tickets. They're right down on the floor. I was
Wow.
row one. And so that venue is the perfect venue for watching a game. There's excitement, enthusiasm. It's loud. You come to Lloyd Noble and it's like a cavern where people are really far removed from the court, and it's just not as enjoyable. And I'm sure for anybody that coaches there, including Porter, I'm a huge Porter fan. He does everything he can to get the fans to show up. It's just not a good facility. It's located too far off campus, and it's been struggling the last number of years, which is unfortunate. I think we'll get it turned around, but not until they start dedicating more NIL dollars to it.
I agree with that. I am also a big fan of Porter. My husband and I love sports, and we're big March Madness fans. We were actually in San Antonio the year that Porter made the Final Four run when he was at Loyola Chicago. And I think he's a great dude. I think he's a good coach. Big fan of him. I am really hoping that things pick up and change course a little bit for him, especially this season. But I do agree with you on the NIL dollars, and it's hard because, like you said, Oklahoma is a football school. I feel like the times are changing, and Porter recognizes that, and that's step number one. That's a good thing. He knows that things need to change in that area, and so I really am hoping that it does. And as far as the arena goes, I like to hear your perspective on that because I know everybody has a different opinion. But as far as when people hear reduced capacity or smaller venue, that can be an automatic turnoff for people. So for you to frame it that way and explain why that is a good thing is a great perspective for everybody to consider. So I'm glad that you pointed that out. And I don't disagree with you at all because Lloyd Noble is old, obviously, and it is big and far away from the court. So some good points there for that. Because like I said, I know there's a lot of different opinions on that.
Insure it for a bunch of money and hope a tornado hits it. and then let the insurance companies rebuild a better facility. That's the best option we have. I don't have to give the tornado that direction. It's an older facility. Just, like I said, you travel out to Spokane, you go to the Gonzaga facility, you'll see. You want the closer to the floor. Down there where they're cheering is unbelievably loud and overwhelming when they get into it. You don't want the fans spread out amongst this cavernous facility that's just a concrete hole in the ground. And that's what we have now. So we've got some stuff to do, and I hope they build a new facility soon. But right now, he's going to football.
They are. And, like you mentioned, Porter, he's done a lot to get the students to come in and come to games. And I have been at several games where the student section has been loud and active and very vital to the game. And I do think he's tried to do a lot as far as that goes. But yeah, it's been a struggle of late for sure. I've been at a handful of games recently and there's hardly anybody there. And it is frustrating for me. Like I'll show up and watch my team play anywhere that they're playing. And I want everybody else to as well. So, but I get that that's a struggle. But I don't know about a tornado hitting it because I don't want a tornado to get too close to Love's Field.
That's a brand new facility. Yes. Name's on that scoreboard too. So I like that facility. I've watched a couple games there, and it's the best facility in the country for softball. Nobody else in the nation has that kind of
absolutely.
Clearly, it's because we've been winners, and winners get rewarded. And the Love family put a significant amount of money into that, but so do some other donors. And it's a really, really nice facility that
it is
a consistent perennial number one team in the country should be playing in.
Absolutely. It's incredible to see how far the softball program has come over the years. But yeah, Love's Field's incredible. I was there opening day. I couldn't wait to see it. Beautiful facility for sure.
We almost didn't win that game, did we? The opening game at Love's Field?
Yes. And then I remember the first home run hit at Love's Field was actually hit by an opponent. It was Carly Spade of Miami, Ohio. But yeah, we barely came out on a win with that one. I believe we had a doubleheader that day. I can't remember who the other team was. But yeah, that was something else. I was just like, we can't not win the opening game in our illustrious stadium.
Yeah, I'm glad that we pulled that one out.
For sure. For sure. I have a lot of memories, of course, at the football stadium and at Marita Hines. So many memories there. Loves Field is, I know there's more to come there for sure. I'm excited about our team this year.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, they were good. They outperformed expectations last year, uh, and
For sure.
extremely well. Everybody expects they're going to win it every single year. That's unrealistic, but we did win it 4
Yeah,
in a row, and we were right back in the thick of things last year. And I think we'll be back again this year. It'll be interesting to see
I
what
do too.
Nebraska does with Jordy Ball as a senior now. And, they've got some good teams. They're preseason 6 or 7. I think there'll be some good competition, but there's always the top
Yes.
5 or 6 teams are extremely good every year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, football is my first love, but softball's a close second and has become more so in recent years, of course, with accessibility and it being on TV more. I try to get up as much as I can, but I can't make it to everything. So I'm thankful for technology when I can't. Well, I recently talked to a friend and he told me that if OU participates in it, if there's an OU on the jersey and they're on TV, he's watching it. And I said, that's a pretty adequate description of myself.
Right.
And I feel like that's probably a pretty adequate description of you as well.
I mean, I love OU. I love everything about OU. That's why I've given them so much money over the years and have supported them and will continue to support them. That's my school.
Yes. Yes. Well, and we are all thankful as Sooner fans for people like you who are able to do that because what a difference you make. And I know you get your publicity and everybody will recognize your name because of the official reviews because we have a lot of them. But what an honor it is for you to be able to give back to your school that means so much to you. And I think that's so cool that you do that. And I know we're all thankful that you do because I know it makes a big impact on the university and all of the sports. And it means a lot to us fellow Sooner fans for sure because I know we all wish we could give back a little more. I do as much as I can, but it's just special to give back to something that means so much to you.
Yeah, it does. I do it for Oklahoma Baptist University too. That's my undergraduate, one of
Yes.
their largest sponsors down at OBU. Way, way, way less money involved because it's a much smaller school. But
right.
Give back to them, and then of course when it comes to OU, I've been doing it for 15 years now, to the tune of just north of $3 million over the last 15 years, supporting the school and the different programs they do. I also have an NIL deal I do where I play a judge called Make Your Case. If you go,
yes, I've seen that.
If you go to sports.com, you can pull up all the episodes of Make Your Case where I'll play a judge and we'll have 2 athletes that will come in and they will argue, real aliens versus non-aliens, the 80s era basketball versus current basketball. And I will ask questions and then I will serve as a judge and I will render a ruling. So I do an NIL with the athletes in addition to some of the stuff I do where I'm a review sponsor or I sponsor the coaches show or I'm on the scoreboard. So it just gives me another mechanism and avenue to be more involved.
I think that's just great. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities to get involved and give back. And that's fantastic that you do that. And because you do that, you've gotten a lot of opportunities to hang out at a lot of cool places. I saw your picture with Porter.
Yeah.
I saw you hanging out on Love's Field. I think I was there the day that you threw out the first pitch. I remember that.
And one year it was a strike down the middle, and one year I one-hopped it. So hopefully you remember the strike.
I don't remember, honestly. That's really funny. But that's a cool experience to get to do that as well. And then, of course, like I said, hanging out with Porter. He's a cool guy. A big fan of him. I remember seeing you with Josie.
Yep.
On the sidelines.
Good guy. So every year I give Friday before Thanksgiving, give away several thousand turkeys, feed several thousand people. We call it the annual day of kindness. This was our 16th year to do it.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Comes out and supports. They bring the Sooner Schooner, some Roughnecks come, cheerleaders come, Porters come multiple years in a row and brought athletes. But Joe C comes every year. So
I love it.
He was standing in the line helping hand out food to people because we also give people food on location. So he comes and supports my events, and I appreciate him for doing that.
I love that. He seems like a really good guy. And I know that retirement comes for everyone, but I sure am going to miss him. I mean, he's been the face of OU athletics for
27 years. Yeah, a long time.
I mean, it's hard for me to think about anything without him.
I think they'll do right. They know it's an important hire.
For sure.
It's tough to get that kind of continuity where you can get somebody to stay that many years. I don't know if they'll ever be able to pull that.
Oh, my gosh.
But certainly with him, which was the year before they got Bob Stoops, And for those two
Mm-hmm.
together so long and keep all that intact was pretty impressive.
Yes, really, really was. Well, and I think about, Sherry Cole, she was around for so long, and KJ Kindler's been around forever. Mark Williams, the men's gymnastics coach, he's been around forever. It's just crazy to think that we have a lot of longevity at OU, and that is pretty rare for sure. So here's hoping that continues for sure.
I hope so. Certainly that kind of longevity is good for the team.
It absolutely is. Okay, so are you a big baseball fan?
Well, yes and no. So I played baseball in high school, loved it.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Professional baseball, I loved the playoffs and the World Series more than the regular season. As far as
Same.
collegiate goes, I follow it throughout the year, kind of surface level. But when it gets time to whether we're going to make the SEC tournament, when it comes tournament, there's when I really get motivated and really start paying attention to watching. Because there's just so many regular season games.
I know.
My attitude's completely different on softball. I follow every single softball game.
Yes,
baseball,
same.
for whatever reason, I follow it, but it's really the playoffs and the tournament time that I really.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way myself. I love softball. I rarely miss watching a game if I'm not there. And if I'm not watching or there, I am listening to Chris Plank in my ear for sure. I've been to many events that have required me wearing an AirPod just so I can hear the softball game. And I always try to attend a few baseball games every season. I like to go be a part of the atmosphere and, of course, support OU, and I just love sports. But it's harder for me to follow baseball in the regular season than postseason. Obviously, postseason anything is way more exciting than the regular season for sure. But I'm really hoping that we make another run to Omaha soon because I really kicked myself for not going. I believe it was 2022. Yeah, I really hate it. It just didn't work out. I'm really hoping we make another run soon because I'm going.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
Oh, we will for sure. Okay, I am totally new to following some of these sports, but like volleyball, tennis, even golf. I went to my first track and field meet. Some of the sports that often get overlooked, those are the ones I try to capitalize on and really bring a lot of attention to. Soccer. I've tried to highlight a coach and an athlete from those programs each season. And some of those events are free to go to. And I always tell people, I'm like, hey, it's free to go to tennis. It's free to go to the track meet or golf. And soccer was free this last season. But volleyball and some of those sports are very cheap to go to. But I am fairly new at following closely a lot of those programs. But as I've talked to all of these athletes, and I'm sure you've had plenty of conversations with different athletes and coaches as well, it really makes you want to be a part of it. And so it's hard to keep up with everything, especially living out of town. But just what an honor it is to get to talk to the people that you do, the athletes, the coaches, and be a part of it and just be able to be present and be a part of a great university, because that's what everybody I talk to, what they say, athletes, coaches, they're just like, this is a great university. We have so much support and we want all the fans to come out and see us. And I know it's hard to follow everything, but I'm trying to get my feet wet across the board. So I didn't know if you had any experience in watching any of the underlying sports.
Yes, some, not a lot, but some. But my experience is different than your typical fan experience in that I just have a level of access that most aren't going to have. Just
true, yeah.
Virtue of a relationship in which, like I said, I've spent north of $3 million with OU through Sooner Sports over the last 10, 15 years in my participation with them. And when you're like that, they all know who you are. So, I mean, I could pick up the phone and call Joe Castiglione. I could call Bob Stoops. I have all their numbers in my phone. I can call President of the University, anybody I want. So you have access that the average person doesn't. And as a result, I take a little bit of different side of the athletics and the sports and have a little bit different experience than what the average person is. I can be on the field for kickoff if I want to be.
I love it.
I get to do all the fun things. I have flown on the team plane. They called me this year. You want to go on the team plane with the football players?
Oh, wow.
And the players to OU Alabama. And I had to turn it down because I was in a legal conference. But the year before, I went with everybody to Missouri, the Missouri game.
Oh, how cool. Yeah.
The athletes are a row ahead, a row behind. All the coaches are taking up the first class section. And so I get to do things that the ordinary fan doesn't. So I have a different perspective, but a different level of enjoyment too because of that, because I understand how special that is and not everybody gets to do it.
Yes. That is so cool that you get to do all of that. And as you should, for all that you give to the university. I got a chance this past season to be on the sidelines during one of the Auburn game. And What a cool experience. That was my first time. I mean, I've been on the field before, but not during a game, not during, a packed out stadium with the team running out and all of that. And that's just an amazing experience for sure. And certainly, like you said, I don't want to take it for granted. It's a unique perspective that not everyone gets to have. I'm very thankful that I got to. But how cool. And to be on the plane with the team, that's incredible.
It's a lot of fun. I will tell you on that particular trip, the OU Missouri, it was way more fun going out than coming back because we had that
I could. Yes.
The road, had it won, and at the very end we fumble and they come back and beat us. So it was a quiet plane ride home. But going out,
I bet so.
And had we won, it would have been, rambunctious on the way home.
For sure.
I'll tell you the other good things, I travel with them and I get to be on the sidelines. So I'm at OU, Missouri, and the game's not starting, and I'm on the sidelines just walking around wherever I want to go. And the Missouri student section is very close to the field behind a brick wall. And they're giving anybody who OU, they're just giving them grief. So I just walked right, there's a little hill. I walked right up into the middle of it and started taunting them and having fun with them. I have a video of me getting after the Missouri kids, all the college fans. And it's a lot of fun. Again, a lot of things that the average person isn't going to get to do just because they're not going to be in that position. I am, so I have fun with it. So I did.
Absolutely. You should. Well, it sounds like you have a little Baker Mayfield in you.
A little bit. All I want to do is win.
Absolutely. I always say that Baker is my spirit animal. I love him because he just does not care.
The way their season ended with 6 out of 7 losses and kept them out.
Terrible.
Tied with the Carolina Panthers, and then they didn't get the tiebreaker. A tough deal. They needed one more game in there. They lost some games they should have won. Started off the season, gangbusters. He's leading the team down for fourth quarter comebacks, and it ended up the season just pitiful.
It was sad. I had a lot of high hopes for them. Like you said, at the first of the season, just great games, great wins for them. So I keep thinking every year, I'm like, okay, this is going to be his year. But I have a lot of hopes going into the next season for sure. They hired him a great OC, and hopefully they can all stay healthy and his weapons will be able to help him out for sure because he needs it.
Certainly hope so. I'd love to have another great season.
Oh, me too. And I've told my husband, if Baker ever goes to the Super Bowl, we have to go. So I may have to sell a kidney or cut my arm off or something, but I'll have to go.
Yeah, that would be a great one to go to. I've been to a number of Super Bowls. I haven't been to a national championship game. They get unbelievably expensive because there's a finite number of teams.
They do.
And a lot of them are pre-sold before you even know what teams go to the.
I know.
So it's harder and harder to get a ticket.
It is. Well, and so I know you mentioned traveling on the plane. Now, what game did you say they invited you to this past year? Was it Bama?
OU Alabama.
Yeah.
I turned it down.
That would have been a fun one.
I've been there because we went on the road and we beat them, but I was out in LA at a legal conference. It would have been a good one. So I go about once a year. I get invited about once a year to go on a team plane.
That's awesome.
Fly with the players. I get to take a buddy with me. One year I took 2 buddies. So it's fun. It's interesting. It's like I said, it's not something the average fan is going to be able to do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm eyeing the Michigan game this coming fall. I know we have a great road schedule, actually, a lot of good venues to go to. And that's one thing I've been excited for with the SEC is just having new places to visit.
Right.
Because I felt like I'd gone everywhere in the Big 12 like 100 times and I was over it. But we went to Ole Miss a couple years ago. That was a great time. And I know Michigan's not in the SEC, but I've had that on my calendar for many years. And so fingers crossed, we'll be going to the Big House in September. So I'm really hoping that one works out for me.
A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
So what SEC venues have you gone to?
Tennessee. I have not.
Oh, yes.
I have not been to Georgia or Auburn. I was supposed to go to Auburn. Sure didn't get it. I've not been to Georgia or Auburn. Been to Florida. Not Vanderbilt, which now I kind of want to go because Vanderbilt's good.
I've been.
Knew that was going to help me. So not enough, but we've only been in the SEC a couple of years now. So, you
got time.
Getting a little old going to Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah.
Lubbock, Texas. For those.
Yeah.
And so now we have some better venues with some better competition. So I think it's going to be really, really enjoyable.
For sure. Well, you got your chance to go to Georgia coming up at the end of September. So you better start making some plans.
Get out there. A good buddy who's a Georgia fan. He's got tickets on the 50-yard line. I'm sure he'll hook.
That's amazing. That's definitely a venue that's on my list for sure.
It'll be fun. Like I said, I've been to Ohio State, haven't been to Michigan, so it'll be fun to go up there and watch that. Now, I don't know what their situation is going to be. I mean, obviously
I know
their coach made some horrific personal life decisions that cost him.
Yes.
That's caused a lot of players to enter the transfer portal. including their quarterback. They paid all the money too. So they may be in complete disarray the next few years as they try to unwind the damage
They might.
with his own set of personal demons.
I know. I hate it. I hate it so much. And of course, he's an Oklahoma guy, so that just kind of hurts even more that it happened. But I sure do hate that for them. You know, Ohio State, when they came to town, just seeing Urban Meyer in person in our stadium was like surreal to me. So I think I'll feel that way also when I go to Michigan, sitting in the big house, thinking I'm in this stadium that's
so much of a
it just means a lot.
Yeah.
To college football. Like it's just a once in a lifetime experience almost for somebody like us from Oklahoma. When the heck are we ever going to go to Michigan? So I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the season. I know we've had a lot of success in the portal. I really like Jim Nagy and what they've done with that. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Surprised it all worked out as well as it has, but it has.
I know it really has. And okay, so I have mixed feelings on the portal situation, and I know everybody does, but what's your opinion on the portal and just NIL in general? And do you feel like it's headed in a good direction, or do you feel like there's things that need to be like guidelines put in place, or what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, to purists, it has wrecked athletics. The ability to pay players has completely changed the dynamic and the mechanism. The only reason a school like Indiana can win the national championship, because they're a perennial bottom dweller, is because what you have to do is embrace it and then go out and try to find players that you pay to come play. And in the old days, teams like Alabama had an advantage, and they could get 5-star athletes three positions deep and just have them molded and get ready to play in a couple of years. And those athletes would just sit there and wait their turn, because if they transfer, it costs money and you don't know if it's going to be a better deal. Today's era, you can't do that. A 5-star is not going to sit behind a 5-star. They want to play right now. They go find a school they can. It's going to pay them some money. The other thing is, I think the era in which 5-star, 4-star, 3-star even matters is lessening. Indiana won a national championship with a single 5-star athlete. They did it by embracing, they went out and found 23 and 24-year-old full-grown men that have been playing for a number of years, and now we're going up against an 18-year-old quote-unquote hotshot. Well, somebody even bigger and stronger and wiser is going to have the upper hand, and they did. So they did succeed at that level. Texas Tech and softball, only able to succeed at that level because they had a billionaire back and put up $1 million for a pitcher. The only way that happened. You've got, Oregon with Paul Allen, Oregon, the Microsoft guy. He's a billionaire. You got Michigan with a billionaire. So a school that has a billionaire has an innate, inherent advantage over somebody that doesn't. Then on top of that, you've got the settlement with the NCAA mandating every school spends at least $200 million with the athletes across all the sports. So it's another $200,000 slush fund. They're not going to give it all to one guy because they only got $200,000, but they'll work with other billionaires to give those other guys. It's really, really changed college athletics.
It certainly has, and there's a lot of pros and cons with it. And like I said, I know everybody has a different opinion. I am not opposed to these kids getting their cut of the money. As far as, if I bought a t-shirt for the tennis player, Bruno, that I had on my podcast, and I wanted to support him, so I brought a t-shirt with his name on it, and he gets that money. And I'm fine with a lot of the stuff. I do think it's definitely changed the game. And like I said, a lot of pros and cons, but the amount of money these kids are making, like 18 years old, it's just mind-boggling to me to even think about. And if you would have told me 25 years ago that this was going to be happening, I don't know that I would have believed you, because look at all the trouble that Coach Switzer, other teams and players and coaches got in trouble for all those years ago. Like, you couldn't even buy a player's meal at a restaurant because they could get in trouble. And now look, here we are. It went from, I can't buy you a $20 meal to, here's $5 million. Yep. So it definitely went from one extreme to another.
Well, they're going to have to set some rules, because the have-nots are going to fall further and behind from the have.
Yeah.
Schools with the best money are going to
for sure
athletes. And that's just the way it's going to go. He who has the gold makes the rules.
That is true. That is very true. For sure. Okay, well, before I let you go, is there anything else you want to talk about or share just in general?
OU was a great time for law school. I had 3 great years and went to a lot of the sporting events during that time. Really, really began to love OU even more than I did prior, even though I loved OU a lot. It's just when you're on campus, immersed in all that.
Yes.
You're not just a Sooner fan, you're a Sooner fan. That's part of it's who you are. So really, really enjoyed that. Wouldn't give back at the level I did unless I had enjoyed that. So, I continue to believe in them. I continue to believe the basketball program. I know that they'll get that ship righted. They just got to get more money to it.
Yes.
But overall, OU consistently has top performing athletes and teams in virtually every category of cases that there is. And it feels good to come from a
Yes.
bunch of winners. Because by comparison,
Absolutely.
to UTEP or something. I mean, I would be miserable.
Yeah.
Or Texas with that stupid, nasty other color they have to wear, burnt orange. I mean, can you imagine? And aren't you glad we're not a Texas fan?
No, thank you. I don't do shade of orange.
Crimson, and they get gross and grosser. I mean, so
That's right.
Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner. I love being
Absolutely. Me too. I wouldn't have it any other way. Even on a bad day, I would rather be a Sooner than any other team in orange. That is for sure.
agree